Welcome to the book of Shmuel Bet, chapter 19, David's comeback. We learned about the death of Avshalom, the failure of Avshalom's coup, but you need to remember that David is still not yet back in the palace in Jerusalem. The full extent of the coup has not been comprehended, nor has it been fully quashed. There's still many people who kind of disown themselves from David. And so David now hears the news about the death of his son Avshalom, and he starts crying, weeping, sobbing. He says, "Oh my goodness, Avshalom, I wish I would have been taken instead of you." And Yoav, who's the head of the army, hears this and realizes what a disaster it is, because if the king is so sorry about Avshalom, then what about all the people who fought for the king to defeat Avshalom? Who are they? Are they now enemies? The people who helped David become enemies? So Yoav hears that the king is sad, and that everyone who's on the side of David, who should be happy and celebrating their victory, everyone's very, very, very sad. And rather than celebrating their victory, they're very sad. And so slowly, people walk in like with shame, as if they've done something wrong. And the king is crying of Shalom. And Yoav turns to David and says the most poignant, harsh, to the point words that you'll ever hear spoken to a king. Yoav comes to the king and says, "You have embarrassed all those who fought for you. You've put us to shame. And what you have done is to embrace your enemies and distance yourself from your friends. You hate those who love you, and you love those who hate you, because what happened is we now know that if Avshalom was alive and we were all dead, you would be happy. And now here's my words to you, Mr. King," which is uncommon for him to speak so harshly. He says, "Listen, King David, if you do not come out and if you don't speak clearly to the people and say, yay, we're happy that this victory was won, you will have nobody. No one will stay with you. Everyone's gonna flee because you don't know how to hold the team together." And so the king comes and enters, and people are actually running away when they hear David, because they don't know. Is he angry at us for defeating Avshalom? Who knows? And also you have people not knowing if they joined the coup against David, what are they going to do? Are they going to join Avshalom? Are they against Avshalom? And so people are slowly starting to coalesce around David. And David sends Tzadok and Eviatar, who are in Jerusalem. He's like, "Okay, why don't you guys bring me back to Jerusalem?" And slowly but surely things do settle down, and slowly but surely people realize David will be the long-term king. And slowly but surely everyone starts coming after David as the king. And that's what's happening. They become ready to have David back. However, what happens is David does seem to demote Yoav, who spoke very harshly to him. He says to Yoav, "You are going to now be," he says to Amasa ben Yeter, "You are going to be the chief of staff instead of Yoav." And slowly people are having David back as king. David starts making the trip back through the Gilgal, back to Jerusalem. He has to cross the Jordan River. And my friends, now it is payback time. Why is it payback time? Remember all the people who were either nice to David or very mean to David when he was fleeing Jerusalem, disheveled and betrayed? Well, those people who realize now that he's king again may have some regrets. So the first one is Shimei ben Gera. You may remember him from 3 chapters ago. He's throwing stones and dust and all kinds of things at David. So Shimei ben Gera is the one who's fearful for his life, just because, he threw all that dirt at David when David was running away. And so he comes towards David with 1,000 people with him, and they come towards David, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." He comes with 1,000 people. He comes also with Tziva, the servant of Shaul, who you may remember saying that Mephibosheth, Tziva, the servant of Mephibosheth, the grandson of Shaul, he also helped David. So now they come and they want to see if David's going to pay them back, either for good or for bad. And so the first one, Shimei ben Gera, he turns to David and he's like, "I am so sorry." Awkward moment. He says, "I am so sorry. Please forgive me. And please forgive me for what I've done when you were leaving the city of Jerusalem. I really, really apologize. So, before David even says anything, Avishai ben Tzruya is the brother of Avshalom. He says we should kill him because he cursed out the Mashiach Hashem. But David is like, nah, why do you, the sons of Tzruya, always seek blood? Now everyone knows I'm the king of Israel, and I don't want anyone being killed on the day that I am anointed again, or crowned again, returned again to my position. And so the king tells Shimei ben Gera, I swear to you, I will not kill you. Next comes Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth is the son, but really grandson of Shaul. And you may remember because David gave him the opportunity to live happily with him. But when David was fleeing, Tziva, the servant of Mephibosheth, said that, my master has betrayed you, and he stayed in Jerusalem because he wants Avshalom to make him king. And so he comes to David, and he looks mournful and sorrow. He didn't shave his beard. He didn't wash himself since the day David left Jerusalem. And as David comes back to Jerusalem, David turns to Mephibosheth and said, why didn't you come with me? He knows that what was told to him is that Mephibosheth thought Shaul might return, that Avshalom might give him the kingdom back. And so he says to him, actually, my dear King David, this is Mephibosheth speaking, it's not that I betrayed you, but rather my servant my servant who is named Tziva, he lied to you. And you know, dear king, that I am crippled. I can't walk on my own. And what happened was I told my servant Tziva to get the donkey ready and to take me on the donkey to come with you, but he betrayed me. He abandoned me, and then he came to you and he said to you, oh, Mephibosheth is not loyal to you. And so then you told him he's going to get all my properties, but I actually was just stuck behind because I'm crippled. And so you can do as you wish, but listen, you do you, right? As they say, you do you. And so the king says, okay, it's up to you. And the king says to him, you know what? I don't know who to believe. It's like a he said, she said situation, right? Tziva says Mephibosheth betrayed David. Mephibosheth says, no, actually, I tried to come. He just messed me over. So the king does something that may remind you of the Mishnah in Bava Metzia, where he says, okay, split it. Yachloku, you should split it. You will split the field. And Mephibosheth is like, you know what? Let him take everything as long as you're back in peace. Now, Barzillai Giladi, who's the man who actually gave David a ton of food when he left Jerusalem, he comes and he comes to say hello. He crosses the Jordan, and he's 80 years old, very wealthy man. And the king David says to Barzillai, I'm going to pay you back. Come live in Jerusalem, and you can eat with my table, be supported for the rest of your life. And Barzillai Giladi says, hey, I am 80 years old. 80 is old today in some ways, and definitely back then to be 80 is a huge accomplishment to stay alive. So Barzillai Giladi is like, yeah, I appreciate the generous offer, but I'm too old, and I honestly can't enjoy anything. I won't appreciate the food at your house. I won't enjoy the music. Who cares? I'm an old guy, and I don't want to schlep and move my life to Jerusalem. So thank you so much. I'd rather live and die the rest of my life in my hometown. All right, that's the king is like, okay, fair is fair. So the king kisses him, he says goodbye to him. Next, the king goes to Gilgal, and half of the Jewish people are there with him, and suddenly the people of Israel, this is a story that may remind you of the aftermath of the story of Yiftach, I believe, Yiftach or Gidon, where the people of Israel, many of them who were not part of the victory, they are like angry. They're like, wait, why are we not part of this celebration? Why do we not get to come and bring the king back? Why is it only the people of Judea, Yehuda? And so they're angry, and they are so angry. And Yehuda is like, what do you mean? He's like our king because his seat is in Jerusalem, and he's from the tribe of Yehuda. But the people of Israel say, look, we have more electoral power, so to speak. We have 10 tribes, and why didn't you wait for me? We're gonna see what happens with that. Bottom line is, we just finished chapter 19 in the book of Shmuel Bet. We have the king starting off broken, destroyed, heartbroken, very sad because the death of Avshalom. Then we have Yoav saying to the king, hey, buckle up. You can't just keep mourning for Avshalom and disappointing all your supporters. And if you keep this way, you won't have any supporters left. The king then slowly gathers his people, comes outside, and then the king sends a message to Evyatar and Tzadok saying, bring back your great king to Jerusalem. And they do so, and that's the time where the king fires Yoav, puts Amasa in charge, and slowly but surely people start following David again. Shim'i ben Gera asks for forgiveness for his shameful conduct when David was leaving, and Avishai wants to kill him, but David's like, no way. Then Mephibosheth, the son of Shaul, says, I didn't betray you. Tziva, my servant, ditched me at home, and I'm crippled. I can't walk. That's why I didn't join you when you left Jerusalem. And the king says, fine, split your field with Tziva. And he's like, you know what? Let him keep it all. Then Barzillai Hagiladi, who helped the king, comes, and he's like, nah, king, thank you for offering me rewards, but I'm too old for anything. And then you have slowly him coming back, the king coming back to Jerusalem, but then the people of Israel angry, why they were not in on the party. That is Parakut 10.